In Psalm 131, King David exhibits the lowliness that is in him and advocates it for the nation of Israel. The idea of the term a song of ascents is that if a person meditates on its ideas, that they will gladden and elevate him. There seems to be something in human nature, particularly among the Jews, that finds joy in recognizing one's own loneliness, especially before Hashem. The psalm lists four traits of lowliness. One, the heart is not haughty. Two, the eye is not raised high. Three, does not go after things that are relatively too big. Four, or recondite. These are discussed by various sources. Generally, the Malbim sees this as a discussion of qualitative and quantitative transgression of an acceptable border. In the case of a haughty heart, it is in desires and yearnings. A qualitative trespass would be holding oneself as high as the angels. A quantitative transgression would be chasing after great power. Lifting one's eyes would be transgression the border of the intellect. For example, be judging the actions of heaven, especially things that are above human intelligence. The Meiri understands not having a haughty heart as not debasing one's brother in one's heart. Not lifting one's eyes means not to look at others with conceit and degradation, and indeed not to have the character trait of conceit at all. Not doing things that are big and recondite meant to King David recognizing the things that were permitted to him. When it came to his studies, he did not become conceited or haughty or use sophistry or chase after illusions. It would seem that this meant he clung to external principles and did not chase after his fancies and reveries. Also, when learning, he did not look at deep books or examine principles he really did not understand. Rather, he learned little by little according to the educational program. Simply stated, the idea of the heart being haughty seems to be conceit and vanity. The idea of the eye being raised high seems to be coveting things that a person should not rightly have. These are personality traits. The idea of not going in things that are too big or recondite are two practical practices. Too big would be something like occupying a high position where a person really lacks the ability. Too recondite would be attempting to do things that a person is not capable of doing due to insufficient experience, education, or intelligence. Rashi sees King David as saying, I did not behave with superiority. I did not make great things, engage in pleasures, construct buildings and parks as my son did. Behold, I am in regards to you like one who has no hands or feet, like a mannequin lying before you. The Jerusalem Talmud in Masechet Sanhedrin interprets the verse as follows: My heart was not haughty at the time I was anointed by Samuel. My eye was not pretentious at the time I killed Goliath. I didn't stride in great things at the time I was returned and entered into royalty. And things too recondite for me, at the time I brought up the Ark of the Covenant. Like a baby with its mother is the way King David considered his life. The Meiri comments that he was lowly and held himself to be like a little child. The Malbim comments that like a baby doesn't rely upon itself for anything because it knows how little power it has to do anything, so too was the outlook of David. The Radak explains, Hashem, my heart was not haughty, nor was my eye vain, as David talking about himself. However, he raised this subject because these are the virtues needed for the exile. That is to say, that when an individual conducts himself thusly, and likewise when Israel conducts itself thusly in the exile, then Hashem has mercy upon them, as it says, for Hashem is high, but the lowly he sees. Therefore, the point of the song is that Israel should hope to Hashem and say, my heart was not vain in secret, and my eye was not arrogant in public. The Metzudas David comments, Israel should wish that he means to say that they should look at me and do likewise and hope to Hashem from now until forever. Thank you.